it out. All right, judges, are you still here? Raise your hands. 1, 2, CC. Relating to the Showtime series.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, no.
3 months.
What happened tonight? Judges, hold up your paddles. Judges. Judges. 1, 2, 3. 4. Where's Matthew? Damn it, Matthew. Why are you fearful, Matthew? Come on now, son. You're from Canada. Shit is good now. You got health care and shit. What you got to be down for? We got your back, boo. All right. We're about to jump right back in. I guess I should give you some type of palate poet. Sorbet. And I'd like to do something short and sweet because we got to get this going. So bringing up the Nuyorican WALP representative, please welcome to the stage, Caroline Rothstein.
Hey, Caroline.
It's probably just somebody to break out around to, you know.
Sometimes I wonder, would I be like my dead brother, hit by a car, perfect forever, his death? The reason my father stopped being a parent, my father, once a giant, once my hero, has 1 Ivy League degree and tells me I'm not doing enough with my life. What with my 2 Ivy League degrees, or financially supporting myself since college, or privately tutoring 10 students, or ranked 2nd in the nation for Team Slam poetry, or the book manuscript, and the meetings with literary agents. I wonder. If my brother were alive, would my father's questions blossom into endless accolades like when I was a child, perfect and immortal? I wonder, would I meet my father's expectations now if I killed myself?
All right, that's how you wake the crowd up. 60 seconds, bitches. I'm out. All right, so we switched up the order a bit, which means Nikki D is coming back. Please welcome to the stage, Nikki D.
I am Xanax, Paxil, Percocet, dust-encrusted nails dripping in whiskey, called a good time on bathroom stalls, called a dry cough in the morning, hollowed out expectations of something more, drunk and fuzzy feeling, waxing my teeth in discomforting analogy of last night. My father thinks I'm an alcoholic. I said, no, Daddy, I'm a liquor glutton. Guzzling away at clarity and gridlock anger for the days you were the chest my head claimed domain in the morning after, calling the next man, Daddy, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm lack discipline on the evenings that my knees bruise their chastity, sipping damnation from his skin. Daddy, I am drunk and fuzzy teeth in this comforting analogy of last night. I am not an alcoholic, guzzling away at Daddy's last name in the face of a man I called. Daddy, I am not an alcoholic, I am bad dreams of a woman who you wish you never knew. You know she never had a Daddy, I am lack discipline, gagging on the residue of your bad intentions from his seed while scraping my throat dry. Daddy, you told me big girls don't cry. So I suck tears from fake smiles and cruel designation. I am not an alcoholic. I am fuzzy teeth waxing the stains of his digits embedded in the weary of what I could never call home, and the man I knew in the facade of a boy floating in Peter Pan complex. You know he never had a Daddy, you think I drink too much. I only sip poison on the good days. I chug arson on the punctuation marks of hellos with no response. This liquor is gridlock clarity of rage. I made him wear a cologne so that when he walked away, I could smell the traces of your footsteps massaging the wind. I am Prozac, Oxycontin, smeared makeup, eyes lined in Patron. I'm not a fucking alcoholic. I am a reflection reflecting on cracked mirrors of how much your glass house looks like mine. Stone-fisted words you threw in quieted discourse of your absence. He donned your complexion in multiple lost numbers in my phone. I never drunk that. I called the devil in the sobriety of needing to be held like your bottle of good times spewed on bathroom stalls where you prayed the porcelain gods to save you from your wayward guidance. I called him because I wanted my daddy. I'm not an alcoholic. I just sip poison on the good days. Chug arson on the punctuation marks of hellos with no response. This liquor is gridlock clarity of rage. I called him because I wanted my daddy. It's me. I just wanted to tell you, I'm not an alcoholic. I just miss you.
Judges, propose at this time. Throw it on up. 1, 2, 3. You know it hurts my feelings when people really try to mac on Facebook. What's that? Or Twitter. How are you trying to mac in 140 characters or less? No dedication. From low to high, waiting on one more. We have a 7.0, an 8.9, a 9, a 9, and a 9. Damn, it's going on. Clap for that poet. Drop the low in the back. 26.9, and up next, please make some noise for Sammy.
Instead of practicing for today, I wrote this poem. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna read this poem. This is I taught a theater class in Palestine for kids from refugee camps there. And this is dedicated to them. They entered my theater classroom cautious, like reluctant toes in dark water, gripping at the sandy floor, half expecting the ground to drop, the tide to rise, and their heads to fall somewhere in between death and gaping breath with the fear that the last one was too shallow. And who can blame them when pieces of blue moon they have never seen an Israeli army comes into their refugee camps as frequently as the tide rises, always in the night, and always taking a little life with them like an ocean relentlessly eroding a beach, like white phosphorus burning bright through the bone, like a drowning. It is a death of the slow sort, so you might understand when I say, for Palestinian children, breathing is no easy feat. And still I yearn to tell each one of them, breathe easy, child. We have left the camps, found breath for full lungs. I asked them what their dreams are. I saw an 8-year-old girl with an air of restrained excitement like she's been turned down one short of too many times, mutters in a quiet tone as if declaring an undeserved dream. I want to dance, but there is no space in the camps, and I imagine her twirling freedom to the tear gas saturated air. I imagine her tracing her steps into the sand as it struggles to keep up with her beauty, and the wind chasing her honey-weak hair like an unrequited lover losing his composure. And all I can say to her is, extend your rusted joints. There is space here for broad shoulders and uncurled fingers. Fear not smashing them into tanks or concrete when dancing. The air out here is much softer on your hopeful bones. Talab, who looks like a tired star, struggling to burn bright, told me that once she climbed the highest hill in Nablus, and that she saw the ocean waves from it. She says she wants to stand it and know what it feels like to have the salt water run through her toes, but there are walls and guns in her way, and I wish I could say to her that one day she will know that when the wave retreats from the beach and you sink in the sand, it feels like the earth is pulling you into her womb, feet first, as if to reclaim what she has birthed. But there is a nation of people who claim that beach as their birthright, and Talab, you just weren't born the right way, the right nature, from a womb of the wrong hue, as if they were all weren't just as red and warm and soft as the soil of this land. But Tala, waves can be human too, of words and flesh and movement, of love, waves that would drown Poseidon himself. I cannot promise that you will ever touch the ocean, but I promise you, waves will destroy these walls, drown these guns, cleanse this hate. It will burn like an infected wound in salty water, but it will heal too. Hassam is a boy who always seems to be covered in a layer of dust, no matter how many times I send him to the bathroom to wash his face, and is always looking down as if he's too scared to look at what's in front of him. When I asked him to read from the board, he told me he couldn't see it. It is a known fact that growing up in the narrow alleyways of the refugee camps, children are not accustomed to focusing on objects further than a few feet from their face, or their future for that matter. I wish in that moment I could have said to Hassam, lift your head up, you can see so much further that way. Remind your eyes of the way sunlight splinters into rays at the edges of clouds, and how these rays form golden pyramids over the mountains of Palestine. Remind yourself of how far you were meant to let your eyes wander before asking to return with daydreams and lemon trees. In there, it's not very far. There are no trees for eyes to wander to. Windows only looked into windows. In there, caged eyes could only gaze into eyes gazing back. Days go by where you think you are looking in a mirror before it shatters. And you remember that pieces of hope cut deeper than knives. The lucky ones stare out at big walls, you think. For the rest, the soul is a public matter. Now brush off the dust and shadow, make room for the light to dance on your skin and clothes. The skies are open again, let the breeze tickle your spine and shiver the worries away. They are slick on your still smooth skin and slip off easy, I hope. Safe is a bit of a ham. He loves to be the lead in the scene, and we never had any problems until one day I asked him to sit against the wall, and he refused with the ferocity of a cornered tiger, and he started crying and screaming, "No, that's how they come for you, through the walls." He was referring to the fact that when Israeli soldiers came to detain sons, brothers, and fathers of the camps, or worse, to assassinate them, they would go from house to house by blowing holes through the walls for points of entry, because they could not maneuver through the alleyways with their equipment. I want to say to Safe, relax your mind. Let the abrupt darkness of bullet holes blend into the crisp grayness of the walls, and let that grayness fade into grayer memories. Make space for the colors of pomegranates. Filter out the silence with comforting city street noise. Let your lingering thoughts ride that river out of your head, even if just for a moment. I cannot promise you that they will stop exploding through your skull when you have nightmares about them, but I can show you how to collapse fourth walls with a glance and a whisper, and the only thing you will ever do with that power is inspire. Muntasir was my troublemaker, too clever to openly misbehave. He was the type to curse you behind your back and get the other kids to do the dirty work for him, till I convinced him I had a camera in the back of my skull. Then he just started to misbehave in front of me. One day, unfortunately, like many, he was especially pushy and punched the student in the head. A matter of he said, she said, but he wouldn't recognize the bad in what he did. He says he hit me, so now I get to hit. I get to make him bleed because I bled. This is life, he said. And I replied, no, this is death. But what do I know? I didn't watch special forces break down my door, blast my father, listening to the deafening click, click. Who knew death could be so rhythmic, bursting blood like candy drop rain, and like that his dad was dead. Muntasir was 3 when they came like thieves in the night, stole his father's soul and called it justice. And still, I wish I could convince them that we cannot relinquish ourselves to blood splatters on concrete, that we are more than these decomposing colors staining grayer shades of form, that we are freer than function, so speak life with the sun on your tongue, cough the coffin dust from your lungs. You do not have to wear your father's ghost in this play. The sleeves fall awkward over your short arms, and it hangs low over your voice, which should be in the register of dreams, not the heavy manhood they have chained you to. I know you have seen death reflecting through the other end of a gun barrel, but have you any idea how much brighter your eyes pierce through the daylight? So learn to breathe easy, child. You are still young like the sun at dawn. Do not yield to the night just yet. Thank you.
That was like a relay race poem. She was mad long, son. His breath control was crazy. Like, he's gonna stop now. Oh, he passed it. He's gonna keep going. That's a gift. Judges, throw up that score. From low to high. Cece. You can't be looking at nobody else, Cece. You gotta go off of yours. She's like, I'm not getting booed tonight, fuck this. She's like, I'm not gonna be like Matthew. Having self-esteem problems after this shit. It's okay. You're so funny. You see, Matthew, you're a leader. Look at that. From low to high, we have a 6.6, 7.0, 8.9, 9.1, 9.2. Damn the score, clap for the poet. And Malus. Drop the high and the low from BMA. We have a 23 even for Sammy. Clap for him and keep clapping as Unique comes back to the stage.